I'm going to Kansas City. If I come, I come, I come, I come. I'm going to Kansas City.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Chopping It Up with the Cleavers. My name is Emmanuel Cleaver III.
And I'm Emil Cleaver.
Every Tuesday we drop a new episode. You can check us out on our YouTube channel, Chopping It Up with the Cleavers. Please subscribe, and most places you get your podcast. So there's been a lot going on, some unbelievable stories. So just starting, it's a video that's been circulating, and I'm sure most of you all have seen it. It was in Philadelphia at Sesame Place. And this is a amusement park, theme park, where kids get to go and see their favorite Sesame Street characters.
Sesame Street, been around forever.
Yeah, so they're moving around, and there's one character in particular, the character Rosita. So Rosita is shaking hands with, I mean, we're just going to have to say it. I mean, with some white kids, families. Yeah. And then there are two black girls they're sticking out their hands to shake. All they want to do, they see Rosita on TV. They like her. They probably have a doll or something at home. And so they see Rosita, they stick their hand out to shake her hand. Rosita gives them a diss. Like, nah, I'm not doing it.
I don't even understand is that Rosita wasn't around when we were kids.
No, Rosita's new. Rosita's new.
Yeah, I don't know. Is that the Rosita thing to diss kids like that and do the little hand gesture?
Yeah. So yeah, they were in the Sesame Street boardroom meeting. We didn't do character, but this character ain't gonna be like everybody else. This one's gonna diss. No, that's not her character. That was the person inside the suit.
Yeah.
And so Sesame Street tried to say, okay, well, she wasn't necessarily saying no to any particular guest. She was saying it to everyone. I'm like, come on, Sesame Street.
But they were looking Sesame Street. They were looking somebody on that board. I'd say, hey, but Sesame Street, the Rosita was looking right at the black kids, right in
and
front of them.
She went to them. She was right there. All she had to do was stick out a finger. She would have touched them.
And then she just shook somebody else's hand, so you can't say it was no to everybody.
Sesame, you got to come up with something better.
Man,
but here's the other thing. There were some other videos when that came out.
Big Bird.
Come on, Big Bird.
I don't know if you all saw the other the video because they didn't circulate as much, but there are other videos of black kids being ignored. One of them is Big Bird.
Come on, Big Bird. Come on. Big Bird should have known better.
Man, I don't know. I mean, maybe Sesame Street needs to ask these actors if they're racist before they put on these costumes.
Maybe there was just an assumption that if you're coming to Sesame Street.
I know. Do they know what Sesame Street has always been inclusive?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Since the beginning.
Yes, always.
So this is kind of a mark on their brand, but I mean, I'm sure it was just the actors, but the response is not acceptable.
Yeah, Sesame Street should have come down. Yeah, those actors have been fired and will never work with or for Sesame Street.
Those actors.
Yeah, but they know the CEO or whoever runs Sesame Place, the music, they can find out to make sure that those people never get a job. And if they're actors, I mean, they ought to be banned. I mean, there ought to be a list. Hey, these folk hate black children.
Man, they're just children, too. That's the messed up part. I could see if it was some adults.
Yeah, I mean, it might be a little better. Like, nah, I ain't shaking your hand. But come on, man.
But these are some kids, and the expression on those kids' face, I mean, you can see that they were hurt.
Those girls were disappointed.
And the one, the Big Bird, didn't shake his hand. You could hear the mother saying, "Don't cry, it's okay." We got to tell our kids. We got to take our kids to these events, and we think we're just having a good time. But next thing you know, racism.
Come on, man.
Good old racism. Sneak that racism in.
In all places on Sesame Street. Now, you know, folk, what was this, how the song go? Can you tell me how to get to Sesame Street? Well, yeah, you get to Sesame Street, you got to go by Racist Street first.
Yeah.
You got to go by KKK Lane first.
Yeah, Sesame Street, you need to make up for this, or Sesame
Something.
Place.
Yeah.
Because
But
the
it's all
response.
still under Sesame Street. But
Yeah,
yeah,
but-
Sesame, yeah.
I mean, if that's the only response, because, you know, maybe they didn't see those other videos.
Well, Whoopi Goldberg, because she's done so much work in years with Sesame Street, she reached out and she said they were going to now provide training. But just think about that.
Training? You had to train the kids?
No, not the kids, man.
I mean,
You got to train the actors about diversity. So these folk who are coming to play children's characters have to be told, hey, you cannot call the kids the N-word.
and you can't just shake the white kids' hands. I mean, you have to tell them that?
Yeah, that's
Man.
crazy. In 2022.
Man, it just seems like sometimes it's getting worse. The racism.
It's more. I mean, it's more out in the open. If you've never, since this country, we've never really dealt with the problem.
Right.
I mean, to really address it, and then it's not going to be because now they're trying to erase. You can't say slave in some school district. You have to say the volunteers. The volunteers.
I thought they were involuntary workers, migrant workers.
And they were displaced. That's what because they were taken from their land. So you can't even say that. So how in the world are we ever really going to get to the core, get to the bottom of this race issue in this country if we're trying to whitewash everything? That the slaves aren't slaves. They were displaced volunteers or whatever they are.
volunteers.
It may be involuntarily displaced.
Man,
It-
Sesame Street.
Sesame Street used to teach. That was
They used to teach. They used to teach racism
our
against
teacher.
racism.
Yeah.
But now they teach it. It seems like, I mean, this
Yeah,
Rosita
yeah.
character. Maybe they just, I was about to say, get rid of the Rosita character.
They might
It's
have
the
to,
actor.
but yeah,
It's
but
just the
still.
actor, though.
Yeah, you're right, but still, now Rosita has a stain. I mean,
Maybe the cartoon. I mean, when they get not the cartoon, but the puppet or whatever they're called. When they get back to the real Sesame Street, maybe Rosita needs to have a public service announcement.
yeah, she's gonna have to do
I was
something.
recently seen dissing some Negro kids, and
That
now
wasn't me.
I want to apologize. I like all kids, even black kids.
Come here, and then have one.
Have a black kid.
Well,
come
then
and
while
sit
she's
there.
making the announcement, they'll have some black kids around her.
Yeah.
You see, I really do like you all. Come here.
Do you know if she shook the Mexican kids' hands or it was just the white kids?
Latinx, I don't know.
Man.
I don't know. But yeah, it's a sad situation. So Sesame Street, Sesame Place, you all got to rectify. You got to do more than just say, we're going to do training. I mean, really, in all actuality, I would imagine Rosita dolls aren't going to be flying off the shelves. They have to do something.
I would
They have to
think so.
do. She has to be on the show and get somebody who they're going to get Reverend Al Sharpton to be on there with her. To get somebody on there to talk to her.
Talk about diversity. Well, I can't say diversity. Sesame Street is all about diversity.
Yeah.
That's the sad part about it.
But those kids who have seen that, they may be scarred on Rosita. So
Yeah.
Sesame Street might, they're going to have to do some public relations with her, or they might have to just get rid of her and get a new character. Bring somebody back.
I don't know. How popular is she?
I don't know.
Not popular now.
No.
Not with the black kids.
No.
Maybe, I mean,
She's on the watch list. NAACP. NAACP put her on the watch list.
damn. Sesame
Characters
Street
to watch
character.
out for. That's sad. So that's some news that is out there. Again, hopefully Sesame Street really has to go, I think, out of their way to rectify what happened. Even though it was an actor, even though the actor wasn't told to do that, they still have to do some rectifying.
Yeah. Sesame Street did not tell the actor ignore the Negro kids.
Right. Yes, we're sure of that. But some other news, and this is even funnier. That gospel recording artist who's recorded with some of the biggest names in the industry
Yep.
was preaching at a church, and she referred to those in attendance as broke and ugly. Broke and ugly. And then praised them for not wearing their mask and not getting vaccinated. This was all gospel singer, preacher, Kim Burrell saying that it's a mark of faith not to get vaccinated and not to wear your mask. Now, this isn't the first time she's made some controversial comments. Back in 2017, she told a congregation that she was preaching to that if you play with homosexuality, you're going to die from it. That's what she said, that homosexuality will somehow kill them. And of course, she took some flack on that. So,
but she's still out here.
Yeah.
So I just saw, since this thing popped up with her, I guess she hosts a music show, kind of like a gospel American Idol or whatever they call those. And with Donnie McClurkin.
Sunday Best?
Something like that.
Yeah.
So there was a contestant on there singing, and while they were, one of the judges was giving her opinion, she was laughing to Donnie. He interrupted and was like, "I don't appreciate you being rude. You know, no matter what, you don't have to be rude." And she was being rude. I mean, it's a game show, and she's just ignoring this dude who just got through singing. Yeah, and he was like, "Man, I took off work for this. I had to save up money to get on here, and then you just up here laughing, disrespecting." Of course, she was like, "You need to be just paying attention to the person that's in front of you." So
yeah, it's celebrity status. We worship them. That's why they act like that.
Yeah, I mean, so I think half is 50-50. Half is celebrity status. Half is just holier than thou attitude. I mean, we went to religious schools growing up, and I remember in college, the people that were talked about, the Bible every single day and can quote the scriptures and talk about how holy they were. They were the most corrupt people at the school. I mean, yeah, I've seen it all. So
self-righteous.
I'm not saying that about her, but yeah, I mean, I think part of it is self-right. Well, I guess I am saying that about her. I mean, for her to get up and say the ugly people, and
what would you do? You're in a church, you're in a building, and somebody, hey, Jesus just told me this. You broke and you ugly. How you gonna respond? You're broke and ugly.
I was like,
Jesus told me, in the name of Jesus. So then she puts hands on you.
Don't touch me.
Come on, man. I'm trying to do.
All right, you get your. I got your point. But
okay,
all right. Don't touch me. I get it.
That's what the preacher's doing. That's what
she didn't do that.
Okay, but this particular preacher's doing it to you.
First, if they put the hand on me, I'm gonna get a little twist move and twist their elbow. Twist their
just because they touch you.
Well, I don't know what they're gonna do. They might give me a spot hole.
Okay. So what if they don't touch you?
Okay.
They call it, but they said Jesus said you're ugly, dumb, and broke. What do you say?
I would say I know you are, but what am I?
But you don't have a mic, so nobody hears. So when she says you broke and ugly, everybody go ooh.
I would be pretty mad if the preacher, and I went to a church and the preacher called me broke, ugly, and dumb. I'd be pretty mad. I might get up and take the mic, go up there and take the mic.
Security. I don't know why. Yeah, I guess.
What did the crowd say when she said that? Amen. Yes. Amen.
No. I mean, that's why it became known, because people were upset about it. So she was blasted on social media, and she put up an apology, but then took it down. She was like, okay, I guess if Jesus told me to call you all ugly, I shouldn't apologize. Yeah. I don't know what she's thinking. I don't know. Don't let me try to think
what she believes, but she, I don't know. I mean, I saw a picture of her. What? I'm just saying, she's calling people ugly. I saw a picture of her.
Okay.
So
you don't think she ought to?
No, I don't think she should be calling people ugly. I don't.
Maybe she's talking about ugly in the spirit.
Or maybe she's just talking about uglier. I don't know. I mean, because
I can guarantee Jesus didn't tell her to tell folk they're ugly.
Yeah, I mean, because nowhere in his stories does it say that he was going around calling people ugly. I'm not going to save you because you're ugly.
Yeah.
And broke. And Jesus hung around a lot of broke people.
He was broke. He didn't. He had no place to call his own.
So yeah, I don't get that.
But a lot of people, they're this prosperity gospel that's been around for a long time. You see it in the white church and the black church, and the belief is that if you have favor with God, you're going to be rich. That God is going to bless you, and the blessing comes monetarily, financially. So maybe she's thinking, if you don't have money, then God must not love you, which, I don't know what Bible she's reading, because God throughout the Bible was on the side of the poor, but some still have that prosperity gospel, that theology that.
Well, I thought that what's his name? T.D. Jakes was like he was wrong, or no? Which prosperity pastor just came out and
talking
said
about Creflo Dollar? Well, he said tithing.
Yeah,
tithing
tithing
wasn't New Testament.
Yeah, he said he's been wrong all these years about tithing. Now that he's a multi-millionaire.
Yes, and his $60 million airplane that he used. So the question I would ask: so you gonna give the airplane back?
Yeah.
How much money you gonna give back? So maybe that I don't know him. I don't I don't watch him. I don't listen to him. I know who he is, but maybe he's saying that some things are just an attention grabber, or maybe he believes it. I mean, he's not the first person to say that tithing isn't really New Testament; it's more Old Testament. But he's made tens of millions of dollars. So does that mean he's giving some of that back?
No, he's not. He's not going to tithe it.
He's not going to tithe what he made. I'm sure he has. If he's been preaching it and teaching it, I hope he's been doing the same thing.
I don't know about pastors getting in the pulpit talking down to people. I mean,
that doesn't make sense.
Calling the congregation ugly. I don't get that. Calling them broke. Just disrespecting them, talking trash to them, basically. I don't understand that type of preaching. I don't understand. I mean, are they trying to make them so mad that maybe they'll get motivated to do something about it? I mean,
I can't get behind that thinking. I mean, first thing that would come to mind is if they're just talking, looking at people in the congregation and talking like, okay, they don't have anything prepared. So if they don't have anything prepared, they're just looking and talking about folk.
Or they're just looking in the audience like, damn, y'all broke and ugly. Y'all broke, ugly. I looked at the offering plate. I know y'all broke. And I'm looking out in the audience and I see you ugly. So maybe that's what she did.
Who knows? Or maybe she has a self-righteous attitude. She believes she's holy. That, if you need to be like her in order to be holy.
Well, I guess people going to keep on supporting her, making her millions and whatever. I guess these big artists keep on to hire her. I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me, but it's out there, and like I said, she's had some other controversial comments in the past, but she's still on TV, still preaching in congregations. I know at least one congregation she'll never preach at, but
where is she coming to St. James?
No, not
yo ugly.
Yeah, I'm gonna invite her and then ask you to sit on the front row, see what happens.
I'm surprised somebody didn't go up there. Who you calling ugly, lady?
Who's gonna do that? Who's gonna be that bold?
People, the people that wouldn't rob that other pastor.
Yeah, in Brooklyn, New York, the bishop. There was a bishop in Brooklyn who got robbed.
Platinum chains on. Why you got a platinum chain? Why you saying a sermon?
He and his wife.
This during his sermon, people came up to the pulpit and robbed him.
Yeah, let me just say this for anyone, whether you're a bishop or not, whether you work at Walmart. If you're going to walk around with tens of thousands of dollars worth of jewelry on you, you need security.
Yeah, at all times.
I mean, that's just a given. I thought,
Yeah,
that's a natural thing to do. I would never buy that much jewelry. That's just not my thing.
It doesn't make sense.
But if you are, you got to have some protection, man. And then it's hard, because I'm not that type of preacher, to wear. Some articles said hundreds of thousands. Others said it was tens of thousands of dollars worth of jewelry. I don't know. But How are you going to get up there and ask people, yeah, we need the roof fixed, and you got a $15,000 watch on? Pastor, sell your watch. That'll solve some of our problems.
Well, how is he going to go to church next week and ask people to put money in the offering plate?
Yes, people, you heard about the robbery, and the Lord said I need to get that chain back.
Who goes to his church?
I don't know.
Man, I don't understand some of these.
I don't know.
These churches, these spiritual leaders. I know it's not everybody. Obviously, it's not even most. But every once in a while, you get some people like this lady calling people ugly when she needs to look in the mirror.
It's lack of understanding.
Lack of understanding. Lack of belief in God.
You do have.
Do you really believe in God? You don't. Yeah, I don't know.
I would say they believe, but there's a disconnect somewhere, because I
don't know if these people really believe. I think it's just a popular thing. I mean, the T-shirt. What was that? You that sent that with that man wearing that T-shirt? Jesus was an American.
Yeah, Jesus wasn't America.
Some guns on him. I mean, and that guy calls himself a Christian, probably. I mean, I don't think these people are really Christian. I think they say they believe in God just because it's a politically correct thing to do, but they don't really believe.
Well, then a part of it, a big deal of it, is that the majority of Americans are biblically illiterate, so they don't really know what the Bible says. They only go by what someone else tells them it says, and they take that as the truth, and then they run with it. And someone may be explaining it from a distorted perspective, because it's hard to understand how you get calling people ugly and broke from the scripture. It's hard to just see some of that stuff. Now, I mean, okay, if you wanted to buy, tens of thousands of dollars worth of jewelry, okay, that's your thing. That's not for everybody. But I guess if you have that, why would you wear it to worship? Because I guarantee not everybody in that congregation has money. There have to be some people in that congregation that are struggling financially, and they're going to listen to someone. Well, I know what it is. They go to listen to someone who has all this money because they believe, okay, if this person has the money, that God must favor them. And if I listen to them, then I can find myself in that situation as well. I mean, that's kind
the bottom
of
line, and that's the whole thing with celebrity worship. They must know something. They must know something we don't.
Right, they have to. Yeah. So the celebrity, may not make any sense, but hey, I'm gonna listen to them because they wouldn't be where they are.
Famous.
Yeah, if they're rich and famous, then hey, they have to know. Like all of them have sense. Anyway, another piece of news that happened last week in Kinley, North Carolina. The city manager, Justine Jones, who's a black lady, has been on the job for just a little over a month. In Kinley, North Carolina, they have somewhere between 1,500 and 2,000 residents, depending on what site. I was looking all over to get an accurate account. But let's say they have 2,000 people in the town, and she was hired a month ago, and the entire police department there quit, along with some other city workers, saying that she created a hostile work environment in a month. Now, the first thing that I thought when I saw this, okay, maybe this is about race. She's a black lady, showed the police chief, and showed the other people that worked for the city who quit. They were all white. So I'm thinking, okay, is it a racial thing? I don't know. I mean, because they can't really explain. They don't say what the grievance is. Just it's a hostile work environment.
Yeah, that's easy. That's a cop out. That's a cop out. So you don't have to say we don't want this colored girl in charge. That's what they mean to say.
You think that's what it boils down to?
She's black.
Yeah.
They're white.
Okay.
They've never had a black person in that position.
I was looking to see if they had. I couldn't find, because there's not a lot of information on Kinley, North Carolina out there. I mean, it's a small town. This is probably the biggest news story in their history.
What's the racial population
I'm not sure.
like in North Carolina?
In North Carolina or in Kinley?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
Carolina, period.
Well, in most states, we only make up 13% of the population in the country.
Okay.
So I don't know, but so here's the thing. So I read several articles on this. In one article, they quoted one of the residents because people are protesting, and one of the residents said that that this Justine Jones doesn't like police, that she's anti-police.
So it is a racial thing.
So I'm just saying, I don't know. So then I kept digging further, and so I watched a news story where they had news cameras there at the protest at the city hall meeting, and they interviewed several folk. And there were 2 black residents who were there and were interviewed, and they were like, "We need to support our city manager." And then they interviewed 2 white residents who were there, and they basically said, "We need to get rid of her."
So it is a race thing.
I'm trying not to automatically go there, but
Okay,
everything I've read.
So Kinley, North Carolina, I'm reading it now. It looks like there is 54% white, 33% black.
Man, that's better than most cities.
So I think that it's probably a race problem down there.
It'd be interesting to see what the those stats look like going back 10, 20, 30 years. Because what if the town population has been transitioning over the decades, and maybe this is a fight saying, no, okay, we're not going to go in that direction. I don't know. So all I can do right now is make speculation to make some assumptions based on what I've read and what I've seen on the news. And while nothing has stated that outright that it's about race, it seems like the division falls within racial lines.
Seems like it. I mean,
yeah. I mean, like I said, the 2 residents that maybe it was the news. I don't know. Maybe they were perpetrating something or trying to perpetuate something.
Yes, that could be possible.
Because you know how the news is. They need folk to watch, so they have to stir up drama. But the 2 black residents that were interviewed said we need to support our city manager. The 2 white residents saying, nope, she's got to go.
Got to go.
And there are a bunch of stories out there on it. I mean, national media has picked up on this.
Yeah.
Because it's an interesting story. The entire police department.
Yeah.
And I think they only had 5 full-time police officers. They all resigned, and then 2 other city workers.
What they need to do is get a bunch of black people to be the police officer and police chief, take over that town.
Come on.
Not take it over like that, but at least now, I mean, you have all black police officers, black police chief, black manager of the city. It's less likely to have racial tension, racial problems. I mean, black people aren't going to be getting beat up by the police if the police down there are black or up there are black. So, I don't know. It seems like there's a lot of racist stories now.
Yeah, when you got Sesame Street
20 years ago, you didn't hear all these racist stories, and it was politically incorrect to be racist or to say racist things even. But now it seems like, racism is back in style. It's back in fashion,
So because I remember the story. So there is a story, an entire police department in Missouri resigned, and that happened last year. It was in Kimberling City, and the mass resignation was a result had to do with pay. So you didn't hear about that story. What did make it big news? Because they were really complaining. It looks like they didn't have adequate pay, the right tools to do the job. Department had struggles finding replacement because of everything. And that didn't make the news that this did. So it makes me want to believe that maybe this had to do with race, which is why this story made national news, and the one in Kimberly City that happened last year didn't make headlines like this. Or maybe there was another big news story going on at the same time. I don't know.
I don't know. But this one seems to be racist. Maybe it's not, but it seems to have a little hint of good old fashionism.
So we'll have to stay on top of this story. We'll see what happens. Of course, the media reached out to the city manager, and she can't respond. That's the whole thing about when you're dealing with employment, because she can't say. It's illegal for her to say, what's going on with employees or why they left or the troubles. But they can come out and say whatever. Mm-hmm. But as the employer, she can't. So we'll just have to see. The city council met and they didn't make a decision. They postponed it. So apparently there must be more to the story, or maybe they just didn't want to have to deal with the consequences. But they did not vote to act. And of course, they need police. So they're not going to be able to push the can down the road. Although they say they have part-time officers there, 3 in the town who are part-time. I don't know how that works. If they got to work at the hardware store, they can't be the police until they get off. What happens in the meantime? We'll stay up on the story just to see what happens. I'm sure there will be more to come because people want to know. What is really going on. But there's a race. It's rearing its head. It's never gone away. I heard people say, so racism's coming back. No, it's not coming back. Just, it wasn't popular to talk about.
It's becoming mainstream again.
It's mainstream and you can point a big part of that goes to, everybody knows. A big part of that has to go to the last president, the last person who was in the White House, because he made it popular to be a divisive figure, to talk about races and countries and not apologize for anything. And when he became president, I think those who had been underground, they came up top, like, we can do this again.
Yeah.
We're back.
The South shall rise again.
Yeah. That's the way they're looking at it. We're back. All right, so moving on to the top 5 this week. Last week was the birthday of Keith Edward Elam. Now, of course, you may not know that name because he went by his stage name, Guru.
Gifted, Unlimited, Rhymes Universal.
He was part of the group, the great hip-hop group, Gang Starr. And so he died back in 2010, and he put out a lot of music prior to that. So last week was his birthday, so we thought in recognition of one of the greatest MCs. And I would say if you asked me to do a list of the most underrated MCs, Guru has to be at the top. I mean, he doesn't get mentioned, but you won't find people who have listened to his music who say that he wasn't a bad man.
The group was very highly respected.
Yeah, critically acclaimed. They didn't sell, they didn't go platinum or anything like that.
Yeah, they went gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't mainstream artists.
Yeah, they were true hip hop. DJ Premier laying down the beats and Guru just dropping bars. And so we thought we'd do the top 5, our favorite 5 Guru songs, which might be Guru because he did some albums by himself, his Jazzmatazz albums, and then he had all the albums with Gang Starr. So who's first this week?
I don't remember. I'll go first.
Okay.
All right, so my list, I'm going to start off with Royalty. Featuring Casey and JoJo. And that was from the album Moment of Truth.
Yep.
That was, and I think that was maybe one of their biggest singles.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean, Casey and JoJo on it, you're going to have.
I think that was their biggest selling album, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
It was. I mean, it was a good album, man.
Moment of Truth
It was a good
7
album.
Yeah, so that was one of their popular albums. I mean, all the albums were popular with their fans.
With hip hop fans, I know a lot of folk who aren't really deep into hip hop. You're probably not familiar with them, but
yeah. But these are the top five, our favorite top five. So number 4 is, so I put Soliloquy of Chaos.
yeah, man.
From Daily Operation, one of the older albums that they released, one of the early albums. Soliloquy of Chaos, the beat, Premier, man. I mean, in my opinion, he's one of the top 2, 3 best hip hop producers of all time.
Definitely.
And that beat is one of the reasons why I think that. And Guru is just flowing. Lyrics, the flow, everything. It's just butter. So that's my number 4 song. Number 3, I got from his Jazzmatazz, Guru's solo Jazzmatazz album, Loungin'.
That was on the
Mellow
first
out
one.
and just lounging.
Yeah, that was
lounging. So he created a series of Jazzmatazz albums where he combined hip hop and jazz and kind of put those two together and came up with his own sound. Featured a lot of great jazz artists.
Some
at that
legends
time.
on there.
Yeah, some legends. But that's my number 3. Check that. Yeah, you should check those Jazzmatazz albums.
yeah.
I know Kansas City's big on jazz, hip hop and jazz meshed together. Nobody did it as good as Gangstar and particularly Guru. So my number 2, Moment of Truth, from the album Moment of Truth. I listened to this song over and over and over and over. Deep song. Inspirational song, just one of the great Gangstar songs. Perfect. I mean, nothing bad to say about that music. They just made a whole bunch of good music. It was hard making this list, but
Very hard.
Yeah, Moment of Truth. I'm gonna go ahead and put number 2. Number 1.
We got the same one,
Mass
maybe.
Appeal. Mass Appeal.
That beat, man.
Hard to Earn, from their Hard to Earn album, which is one of my favorite Gangstar albums. That album, I mean, I was about to just name 5 songs from that album alone, but I wanted to just spread it out. So I had to break it up a little bit. But Mass Appeal, man, that beat is infectious.
Man, that thing will hypnotize you.
I mean, if you are a true hip-hop fan of the beats, the music, then this beat is one of those beats.
Hypnotizing.
One of the great beats in hip hop. Lyrics, Guru, you don't even know if he freestyled it or wrote it down. I mean, either way, it was dope. But yeah, that's one of my top 5. Top 5s. If you ask me next week, it'll probably be different. I got
absolutely.
I'll wait to name my top.
All right.
My honorable
mentions. Okay.
I have a couple of them.
So my number 5 favorite Guru song, Gifted Unlimited Rhymes Universal, goes to from his Jazzmatazz Volume 2, A New Reality, which I think is the best Jazzmatazz album, called Lifesaver. I mean, that whole message, he's teaching. He is a teacher on that Jazzmatazz
songs.
The New Reality. So Lifesaver. And then number 4 from the Jazzmatazz Volume 2, New Reality, Looking Through the Darkness. Those two. So Lifesaver, Looking Through the Darkness, number 5 and 4 from Jazzmatazz Volume 2. Number 3 is just creeped up on there, and this thing is so hot.
I was going to put that on.
Man, it's called Family and Loyalty that he did. They brought in J. Cole, and of course J. Cole's, is fire.
So this was done posthumously.
Yeah.
And Premier, he just put the perfect beat.
Man, that thing is
J. Cole,
hot.
Man, his lyrics are
he killed it.
Man,
He
one of the great verses.
J. Cole
Great
kills
verse.
it, man. And so of course Guru has been on tracks with some of the best rappers, and he's always been right there.
Always.
Because his second verse on that song,
Leave
man.
Right Where You Stand with Jadakiss.
Yeah.
One of the greats.
Man. So Family and Loyalty is number 3. Number 2 comes from the Moment of Truth album. I like the Work. I think it's the first song of the album. I'd rather be Untitled. That's all my eyes can see. Victory is mine. Yeah, surprisingly. Yeah. Man, that beat too, man.
Yeah, I mean Premier's beats.
Killed it, man. Man, it's hard. If you're a rapper, it's hard not to just go off if you have a Premier beat.
Yeah.
So number 1, of course, is the same, Mass Appeal. That beat is hypnotizing, and Guru hypnotizes you with his voice. He said he got the lyrics, but it's mostly his voice.
Yeah.
His
voice.
calm, monotone style.
Yeah. So yeah, those are a lot of them that didn't make the list. Above the Clouds.
With Inspector Deck.
Yeah, I mean, great song. Beat, another one with the beat. Step into the Arena.
Yeah.
Just to get a rep. Suckers Need Bodyguards.
Ex-Girl to the Next Girl.
Yeah, it was a bunch of
You Know My Steez.
Yeah, You Know
Code
My
of the
Steez.
Streets. I mean, the songs go on. Gangstar, one of the greatest. If you maybe one episode we got to do the best duo hip hop groups, because you can do the best groups, but then the best duo groups. I saw a list the other day where they ranked the best duo groups.
Was Gangstar on there?
Of course, come on, man. How can you not?
So I mean, we do stuff like that. We got to do a top 10 maybe.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough.
Because the best duos, they're popping in my head already. That's tough.
Yeah.
So I mean, when you talk about duos, because Red and Meth are a duo, you talking about a DJ rapper?
No, however, because you got Mobb Deep, that was duo.
Yeah.
Outkast. Yeah, I mean the list goes on and on. DJ Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince, they were a duo. Eric B and Rakim. Yeah, man, I don't know if we can do that list.
With DJ
That'd
Polo
be tough.
and I guess they weren't really a duo.
Mm-hmm.
Cool G Rap.
Yeah.
Were they considered a duo?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. So that's our list for those true hip hop fans. If you have some favorite Guru songs, whether it was his solo stuff.
And if you haven't ever heard of him, go check it out.
Please.
Gangstar.
Okay. If they never heard of him, which album you're going to tell them to go check out our song? Which, I mean, Mass Appeal, but yes.
Moment of Truth, all those songs that we just named. I would say check out the Moment of Truth album. Probably would be the best
for an intro. Yeah,
for an intro.
Yeah,
because not Moment of Truth. I would say, the Moment of Truth album. Moment of Truth album. I was gonna say hard to earn, but hard to earn is a hardcore hip hop.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hip hop, and so you have to be kind of a hip hop.
It's not. We're not talking about commercial. This is not
it's
stuff.
Not commercial,
and it's not because of vulgarity. It's just because it's
Don't think because they're called Gangstar that they're gangster rappers. They're not. They're far from that.
Absolutely not. Intelligence.
Yeah.
So that's our list. Let us know what you think. Every Tuesday, we drop a new episode. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Chopping It Up with the Cleavers, and most places you get your podcast.
See you next week.
We out.
I'm of the mind.